It looks like the Ace family couldn't end the year without another lawsuit. Yes, the Ace family just received another lawsuit and it's not looking good. Less than a month ago, they were sued by one of the investors for their most recent fight they put on, and now it looks like a YouTuber, Jarvis, is suing Austin, his dad, and their company, Simply Greatness Productions, for the fight that went on last year. And this is the 7th time that Austin has been sued, in case anybody was wondering what that number count is at right now. He is suing for breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, fraud, negligent misrepresentation, intentional interference with contractual relations, and civil conspiracy. So Jarvis is suing Austin and his dad for the fight, like I said, that was put on last year, the Battle of the Platforms. And in the complaint, he is revealing a lot that went on behind the scenes, accusing Austin and his dad of being extremely shady at the time, alleging how they were being careless with money and too full of themselves, thinking they were really going to bring in massive views without any promotion needed, even though these experts and people that were studying analytics were telling them otherwise. Jarvis is referring to the event as a scheme. He's claiming Austin tried to hide the fact that he was the one who owned the company putting on the event, Simply Greatness Productions, in order to attract influencers to be a part of the event. And he had a sneaky way of trying to make it seem like him and his dad didn't actually own or was about to profit from making this fight. And they're alleging he did that because of the reputation that he has. So the complaint is kind of breaking down how he went about not telling people that he owns Simply Greatness Productions. It says, first, to accomplish his scheme, MCBROOM needed credibility. MCBROOM engaged Paul Krazers as the executive producer, a veteran in the entertainment world specializing in new media, digital social platforms. MCBROOM supplemented his team with 2 entertainment law firms to assist with organizing the event and negotiating the deals with the talent. Jason Zivans of Sanders Robertson and Jason Samataro of Pryor Cashman, collectively the Simply Greatness production attorneys. As the social media world can be very competitive, MCBROOM's ability to attract other social media stars would be contingent on his hiding his ownership of this event from the other social media influencers whose involvement MCBROOM pursued. The ruse began with MCBROOM's incorporating a single-purpose limited liability company, Simply Greatness Productions. MCBROOM and Zivans chose Delaware as the state of incorporation where MCBROOM could take advantage of the state's anonymity protocols. When the other social media stars began asking questions of Simply Greatness Productions, Austin MCBROOM and the Simply Greatness Productions attorneys had a secondary scheme which they employed. Alan MCBROOM, Austin's dad, and Zivans suggested the ownership of the LLC be transferred to Kazers on the day of a significant contract signing. Alan MCBROOM further suggested that following the execution of the agreement, ownership would then be returned to Austin MCBROOM. Kazers was stunned by Alan MCBROOM and Zivans' devious plotting. So what this complaint is saying is that Austin and his dad chose to purposely incorporate their business in a different state, and then every time a talent that they wanted to fight in the Battle of the Platforms fight, whenever they were about to sign a contract, Austin and his dad would transfer ownership to a different name so that the people that were signing on to be part of this fight didn't know that Austin and his dad were actually the people that were behind this whole thing. Austin was probably coming to them like, hey, this company reached out to me. They want to do this fight. They're going to pay us big bucks. This is what's going on. I'll put you in contact. How shady is that? Oh my goodness. Because I think through a lot of this, a lot of people have just been like, you know, why would anybody trust in Austin? And yeah, obviously if Austin is coming to you like, hey, like I'm going to put you on, you shouldn't really be believing it probably, given all of this. But if it doesn't seem like you're signing papers with him, people might have been a little bit more into the deal last year since they felt like they were going through someone else to get the deal. Now, in this complaint, Jarvis is claiming that Austin also created this elaborate pitch deck to show to investors that promised large paydays. He pitched that Kevin Hart would host the event, James Charles was going to sing the national anthem, and he's saying that he never actually even approached Kevin Hart. He never asked Kevin Hart to be part of the event, and apparently he knew that Kevin Hart wasn't even going to be in town for this specific event. So it's just weird that Kevin was pitched and that never happened. I mean, a lot of people on this list that Austin originally pitched to people did not end up fighting in the main fight. And this is certainly not the amount of money that they made. This is certainly not the views that they brought in. It's actually crazy, this little estimate that he put together. because it's saying that they're projecting to make $500 million. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Jarvis says that he was offered $1,025,000 in order to fight, and he was going to be getting $25,000 up front, and then the rest was going to be paid after. And he was saying that this is like on the lower end of the deals that Austin was making. He was promising people up to $5 million. And a lot of these influencers that were signing to be a part of this fight were worried about not getting this money up front. And apparently Austin was kind of like scheming to make things work by offering something called like first position and first priority. And in the complaint, when discussing this, they claim the problem for MCBROOM was that there could only be one first priority position. However, as long as each talent making the request did not know what the other talent was promised, MCBROOM could acquiesce to the multiple requests for first position. So, under the cloak of confidentiality provisions in each agreement, Simply Greatness Productions secretly agreed to first priority provisions for at least 3 fighters, its executive producer and its primary investor, unbeknownst to the plaintiff. So he's alleging that Austin was making multiple promises to people saying, "I'll pay you first," and was banking on the fact that people would not be able to share their deals because it was all confidential. So they obviously weren't going to be like sharing their deals and finding out that more than one of them was number one, but that's super messed up. And it seems like even his business managers were getting worried about the promises that he was making because it was a lot of money he was promising to a lot of people. In the complaint, it says the 1 month spending spree in order to lock up the talent with exorbitant contracts caused MCBROOM's business manager, Mark Goodman, to state to MCBROOM, "You are spending like a drunken sailor." And we all know how the event turned out. People did not really show up to the event. People didn't really pay to stream the event. It was a disaster, and this isn't the first lawsuit in regards to the event either, but we're getting more and more details about Austin and how he was thinking throughout all of this, the things he was doing behind the scenes throughout all of this. And it is just crazy how full of himself he seems. He was believing that he didn't need to listen to anyone in marketing. He really thought, I have the fans, I have the numbers, these people have numbers, we will make money at the end of the day, period. And that's just not how things work. If you have fans, they will probably show up for you if you're selling something close to what you got famous for. And family channel stuff and boxing are two very different demographics that there was no way all of his family channel fans were going to all of a sudden be boxing fans. And that goes for a lot of people that were on that card. The YouTubers versus TikTokers fighters, a lot of those people that were fighting, their followers were not interested in boxing. That was just not going to be the case. And in the complaint, you can see how much Austin believed that the Ace family fans were going to show up for him, no promotion needed, and man, did it cost him. It says, Austin MCBROOM refused to heed the recommendations of LiveX Live's marketing team. MCBROOM insisted it was sufficient to rely on the power of social media. In fact, Simply Greatness Productions' agreements with the talent all included the following provisions. Talent shall promote their participation in the event across talent's social media. People were warning him left and right to just let the event go and move on. This was looking like a disaster, and yet he was not believing them. And maybe he didn't want to completely go away with the event because he didn't want to embarrass himself. But by going forward with it, he ended up in all of these lawsuits. And these lawsuits are so much more embarrassing. And here we are a year later and you got another one. And the fact that they're alleging that he wasn't telling the fighters that this was his company, he so could have gotten away with it. He could have just said, the company that we're working with actually doesn't want to do the fight anymore. It's not coming through, you guys. We're working with this bum company. Let's just not. The deal is off. And he could have gotten away. He could have gotten away with it probably. But no, because he went through with the event. Then the lawyers started coming out of the woodworks for all the fighters, and it was exposed that this was his company all along. He should have listened to everyone. But it says, MCBROOM was warned by 2 experts that Simply Greatness Productions' promotional strategy will not drive ticket purchases. Jackie Stone, LiveX Live's chief marketing officer, went on record with MCBROOM warning that his strategy will not generate no more than 200,000 pay-per-view sales. MCBROOM pointed to all the impressions the event was generating. Ms. Stone admitted that impressions do not equal conversions, but MCBROOM already knew that. MCBROOM's goal was to elevate his number of followers, the element which brought him and his family wealth during the last 4 years. So is that the goal here? Was Austin just trying to get followers and not actually a paycheck because he thought that if he got more followers through this event that their YouTube channel would like skyrocket again? Obviously, as we know, the event went on and the alleged final numbers of those who watched was about 136,000. Apparently, these were the numbers originally predicted by Live X Live's chief marketing officer, but as we know, Austin refused to listen. And the event numbers were eventually confirmed, and Simply Greatness Productions was facing bankruptcy, and yet Austin still went forward to announce a second fight. It's actually crazy, you guys. Like, I can't. But the complaint accuses Austin and his dad of fraudulent promises of compensation. And Jarvis is saying he has not seen the $1 million he was promised. He wants that $1 million, and that is why he is suing, because he wants to get paid what he was promised in that contract that they originally signed. So this whole thing is just crazy. This whole thing is insane, especially getting all these details of the warning signs and just how shady they're alleging this whole thing was. I definitely want to know what you guys think about all of this. Are we surprised about another Ace family lawsuit? Not really, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.